Yes, yes, yes. Hey, good morning, Hustle family. Carolina here. Today is December 11th already. Check it out. We started putting together our Christmas tree yesterday. It's plastic one. We don't cut trees anymore here in Chile for the most part. It's forbidden now, which I think is a good thing. But you know, gotta take care of the trees and the environment. And it's a Monday. Today is a Monday. I don't know when you will be watching this. And despite a lot of preoccupations that I have in my life, married life is going great. I can say that. Married life is going great. But right now my biggest concern is of course my parents. I've been telling you guys for a while, both my parents unfortunately have cancer. And now both of them are going through chemotherapy, which sucks. But luckily they're both healthy. Thankfully, I can say, not luckily, thankfully, they're both healthy. Despite the tumors being there, none of them are metastasized. My mom has been dealing with hers since 2012. And like I said, thankfully, she's healthy. And it's been 5 years and the doctors don't really get it. They don't really get why she's still here. But she's healthier than most people her age. So the chemo is basically to keep the tumor from growing too much. In case you guys didn't know, you can perfectly live with a cancerous tumor. And sometimes it's much better that you keep it in there than having surgery. Because many times surgeries not only go wrong, where you could die from the surgery, but sometimes when they do surgery to remove a tumor, they end up spreading it. And that's why it tends to grow back. For most people, it just comes back. Why? Because they only remove the symptom. A tumor is a symptom of something else. Something is not balanced in your body, and tumors grow because of an underlying reason that most doctors don't look at. And it's sad, but I was talking to a good friend of mine who is a doctor, and I was talking to him about, you know, my parents having cancer and everything. And I told him, well, a big part of why people get cancer is because of their emotions, going through big, you know, emotional things, you know, negative things happening in your life. And he was like, that doesn't happen. And then he was like, it doesn't matter what causes cancer. And I'm like, wait a minute, it matters. It really does matter, because like I said, when you remove a tumor or you bombard it with chemo, you're just attacking a symptom of something else. And if you don't go in there and find out what provoked the tumor in the first place and deal with that, which usually is a lifestyle issue, diet issue, an emotional issue. I don't blame him, and I actually try to avoid continuing to talk about the topic because that's what he learned at university. I'm not gonna blame him, you know, that's what most doctors learn. If you're a doctor, you're watching this, I'm sorry, I don't mean to argue with you. I didn't go to medical school or anything, but I think it's safe to say that if you have a printer and you're printing sheets of whatever, you're printing something on a printer and the sheets are coming off weird, and you go on and change the cartridge or you change the paper, what do you think is going to happen? It's going to continue to misprint things because you're not attacking the real problem, the real reason why the printer is printing all these bad pages. And think of the printer as your body and the pages as cells. It is really one of the greatest analogies I've heard, and I didn't come up with it, I read it in a book. Anyway, I didn't mean to start this vlog with a sad or negative note. Like I said, I'm very grateful that both my parents, despite all of this, despite having cancer and going through chemotherapy, they're fine. And thankfully, I've done my due diligence for the past 5 years since my mom started with hers, and I've learned so much about the human body, about food, about our environment, about what causes disease and how to treat them naturally. And so both my parents have done some lifestyle changes that are contributing to them being okay despite the tumors. Now, unfortunately, in both of their cases, we cannot rely 100% on the natural treatments, but it's been a combination of both. So it's been great. Anyway, now I have to take my dad to the clinic because he has chemo today. So I gotta get going, but I will see you guys in a bit. Hey, what's up guys? So I just finished some of my errands. Nothing too exciting to report. I had to go to the Internal Revenue Service here in Chile. It's the same name actually in Spanish. It's called Servicio de Impuestos Internos. So it's pretty much Internal Revenue Service. And then I went to the bank, picked up some dollars. This is money that my clients send me, right? Sometimes it's my commissions from Mob, and other times it's just, you know, my clients pay me for what I do for them. And I was just listening to Gary Vee's new The Airplane Project. it. And I found it incredibly exciting, incredibly inspiring, I want to say, especially considering how much time I spend on airplanes. And for the most part, what I do is I take the lack of Wi-Fi as an excuse to just relax for a bit and watch a movie. And sometimes in some flights I've gotten to write a few pages of my book, which, by the way, I thought I would finish by the end of this year, but I'm nowhere near that. I only just begun. I have like 5,000 words. But anyway, no matter what, my friend, when you see other people putting hard work, when you see people like Gary Vaynerchuk putting in a lot of work every day and cranking up so much quality content, instead of feeling bad for yourself for not having put out the content that you wish you had put out, let it inspire you. Let it be a reminder of the payoff. What Gary has built really inspires me, and I wonder, will I ever have that kind of following? Will I ever have such a big amount of people watching my content, getting excited every time I put out something new? And I don't know. I do know there are a few people already out there who love my content. I do know that much. It's just so inspiring to see how far your words can go, to see how far your thoughts, you know, I don't know, your legacy can go. And that's the way that I see it, and that's the way that I want you to see it. So don't be jealous, don't feel bad about yourself, don't beat yourself up, and just let it be a motivation that comes from within you. And remember, what's that mission that you have. I gotta go back home now. I'll get some work done. I'll see you in a bit. Hey again, guys, what's happening? I'm sitting here at my dining table at home trying to get a few things done, and I was listening to Gary V's new airplane project that he put together, and I found it really inspiring, and it reminded me of a few videos that I have put out there on YouTube in the past that have really come from the heart. And I wanted to take this moment just to talk to you guys about inspiration. A lot of people out there, and maybe you feel this way too, there are a lot of people who think that in order to create brilliant, beautiful, amazing, fun, entertaining, useful, educational content, they need to wait for a moment of, I don't know, divine inspiration or something like that. To be honest with you, if you were to only create something when that divine inspiration hits you, you would probably create one piece of content per year. Now, I have experienced moments of divine inspiration, and it is awesome, and maybe you have experienced them too. You cannot just rely on that, or like I said, you would never put out anything. You have to find an internal motivation, something that really drives you internally, and you need to create routines, you need to create anchors. Tony Robbins talks a lot about anchoring emotions, about anchoring moments in your life that bring you back to the state that you need to be in order to create a brilliant content. To give you an idea of what that means is, for example, you can anchor those emotions, like you can anchor the beautiful, positive, creative state with a certain music, right? So every time you listen to that specific music, it reminds you of that state and it puts you back in that state. So maybe there's a song that you love that you could listen to over and over again, or every time that you hear it, it puts you back in that moment, and then you can go back to do your creative thing and just do it. And what Tony Robbins uses a lot at his seminars is, number one, music, but number two, he uses a lot of physical movements. And I remember when we went to UPW almost 3 years ago, that was March 2015. Oh my God, it's a long time ago. That was my first Tony Robbins event almost 3 years ago. And one of the first things that we learned was anchoring on day one. And he told us to come up with a movement, like a physical thing that would immediately remind you of yes, you know, of something that will put you in that yes state, in that state where you can just do about anything. And at the same time, while he was getting us to anchor this movement, they would play specific music, and they would play that music throughout the seminar during, you know, different moments. So they had music that was really emotional, music that was fun, exciting, and so on. And now, 3 years later, I still remember that playlist because, you know, we spent 4 days and 4 nights pretty much at that seminar, listening to those songs all day and getting us in specific states of mind. That music is now anchored in my brain. When I hear a song that is played at a Tony Robbins seminar, by the way, 6 seminars later, that music is still in my subconscious. When somebody plays it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is a Tony Robbins song, you know? So how can you come up with that special movement to anchor those emotions? You know, just stand up straight and think of a powerful movement that will unleash that energy out of you. So for example, for some people, they just do something like this, and they go, yes, yes, yes. I came up with something where I would just cross, you know, my fist like this, like yes, yes, yes. and then they just make you repeat yes a bunch of times. You know, everybody has their own anchoring movement, and even though to be honest with you guys, I almost never think of that movement, but when I do, it really does put me back in that state. Like, really brings me back there. Where I'm trying to get with this entire thing is that airplane project Gary Vee put out there, you know, just watching it, you can tell that was like a moment of divine inspiration, if you want to call it that. And I think he has a lot of those moments in his life by, you know, the fact that he's always documenting everything in his vlog. You can tell when the guy's in the zone like that. What I want to say is for the rest of us who have a little less activity maybe in our day-to-day lives, sometimes it's hard to wait for that divine inspiration, and like I said at the beginning, if you wait for it, it may never come. So find ways for you to anchor it, ways for you to get in that state. For example, Brendan Bouchard talks about the energy drill, where he gets you to, you know, stand up and go like, I'm ready, and you just clap a bunch of times and you just say, I'm ready. Right. And that's super cool, you know, and that can really work. Put you in that emotional state that you need to be in, that powerful state, and boom, in that state, sit down, go back to your creative thing, or grab your camera, or play the piano or the guitar, whatever it is that you do creatively. Whatever that thing is that right now is holding you back, whatever is holding you back from doing that thing, find a way to get in that state, find a way to get in the zone. Because if you wait for the zone to get into you, nothing may happen, my friend. Anyway, I gotta get back to work here, and then I'm gonna visit my friend, my good friend that I visited in Scotland. I don't know if you guys remember here. Here's a little clip of my Scotland vlog from June. That was when I was just starting to vlog, and we went to Tom Riddle's grave, and we did a few fun things in Scotland. It was beautiful. But my friend doesn't really like cameras or vlogging or anything like that. So I'm not bringing my camera to her home. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you guys right now. I'm gonna go back here to finish some things, and I'll see you later. The airplane project